Savannah was born perfectly healthy. She was the joy of our life. We loved her a lot.
3 years ago, Kathy Greninger lost her granddaughter, little Savannah, without warning.
It was the worst thing I've ever had to say. I mean, you just don't imagine ever having to tell your child that their child is dead.
Grab it, baby.
This is the last video, last memory of 4-month-old Savannah alive in her Fisher-Price infant-to-toddler rocker. Hours later, Kathy's son-in-law called her over. Savannah was gone.
You don't just have a healthy baby that just passes away when they're sleeping unless something contributes to it.
Kathy, who's a nurse, says the coroner blamed the death on the rocker and the position it left Savannah in. As she slept, her face turned to the side.
The official cause of death was listed as positional asphyxia related to the rocking chair.
Kathy reported Savannah's death to Fisher-Price. Here's the email proving they spoke. But that communication and a lack of transparency by the company has a member of Congress livid.
They absolutely misled me and the committee and Congress.
In June of 2021, the CEO of Mattel, Fisher-Price's parent company, appeared before Congress to answer questions about deaths caused by another product, the Rock and Play. That product, now recalled, is tied to nearly 100 deaths. Congresswoman Jackie Speer wanted to know if any other Fisher-Price products caused deaths.
My question to you is, do you have any other products that are manufactured today that are in the marketplace that have been linked to deaths of children?
Well, we recalled the gliders that were linked.
I understand that. I'm talking about any other products that we, the American public, do not know about that have caused or have been associated with the deaths of children.
We share all information with the CPSC. I don't have any further data than that.
The CEO wouldn't provide a direct answer, even though the company knew about Savannah.
Did Fisher-Price mislead you in that hearing?
Well, if they were aware of another death with another product, they absolutely misled me and the committee and Congress.
And just to be clear, you feel like the Fisher-Price CEO dodged your questions?
If he was ignorant of the facts, he should have corrected the record subsequent to that hearing, and it appears that he did not. So I think it's important for him to come back. And I think we need a fuller exploration of these products and the injuries and deaths associated with them.
But there's another twist from that hearing, an exchange between Speer and the CEO that became more significant this summer. Listen to how the questioning continued when the Congresswoman asked if Fisher-Price would allow the government to release information about its products associated with deaths, despite a law known as Section 6B that would allow the company to shield that information.
Would you be willing to allow them to release that information to the general public and not be subject to this Section 6?
I think it's important to note that...
Yes or no, please?
Yes, but it's important to note that some of the information that is in the market is inaccurate and not always correct. And of course, as I said, I'm saying here that we will commit to work collaboratively with the regulators.
But one federal official says Fisher-Price did slow the release of critical information. Since 2011, records show the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC, passed along at least 20 consumer complaints of deaths, injuries, and incidents to Fisher-Price. But it wasn't until March of this year that the CPSC got a briefing on a pattern.
They sent us a package of hundreds and hundreds of pages of information about the deaths associated with that product.
And this CPSC commissioner says they were blocked for more than 2 months after that, not allowed to warn the public.
I read medical reports, coroner's reports, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching information, and I didn't sleep that night. Until I was done reading all this, I didn't sleep for a couple days because that much information weighing on you and not being able to tell the public when that should be our most central role, you know, trumpeting that information from the rooftops, it's heartbreaking and aggravating.
In June, the CPSC and Fisher-Price finally issued a warning about the rocker. Attached to that warning, the commissioner's scathing statement because of what he calls a gag rule, that 6B law that allows the companies to control when and how the public finds out about potentially dangerous products.
Whatever you see is a watered-down version of what we wanted to say. It is a half-throated warning to the public because we had to negotiate every word of it with the company.
So the warning on the infant to toddler rocker is not as strong as you would have liked it?
It doesn't match our first draft for sure, and I would have certainly liked to say more. I mean, there's things that I know about that product and what happened with it that I'm not allowed to say because of the gag rule.
The warning told parents not to let their children sleep in the rockers and ultimately revealed it wasn't just Savannah who died. Between 2009 and 21, 13 babies.
But I do want to be clear about one point. Fisher-Price would have been aware of each of those deaths in much closer to real time, and they certainly should have been aware of the pattern that was emerging over time. The gag rule stops the commission from talking. It does not stop a company from talking, and I would love to see responsible companies tell the public themselves when their products are associated with deaths rather than waiting, sitting back and waiting.
And what's more, we don't know the extent of the danger because the law has prevented the commission from telling us everything it knows.
What I'm saying is we know more, and if I was a parent, there's information I'd want to hear that I'm not allowed to say.
You can't tell us right now in this interview.
I can't.
If you did?
I couldn't tell my wife at home.
Congresswoman Spears says she wants to hold another hearing and bring the CEO back in front of Congress.
Again, I think that the fact that they weren't transparent is problematic, and they need to be called in to testify on what they know and what they did or did not tell us.
Kathy Greninger wants answers too. Despite reporting her granddaughter's death to the CPSC and Fisher-Price, she says for years neither followed up after a brief initial contacts.
If you're reporting a product that is unsafe, how is it that the manufacturers are policing themselves? Of course, they're making money off of these products. They're not going to let the consumer know until they have to.
This summer, after that product warning, she received the only contact she says she's had since 2019, a form email.
I got an email from Fisher-Price telling me that they believe that I may have owned one of their rockers and that they were sending me a notice to let me know that it was a warning to let a child sleep in that rocker.
A warning that came far too late.
Until it's recalled, it's going to continue to happen because people are letting their kids sleep in these rockers. You have a tired mom who's young, inexperienced, or that has a lot going on, they're going to let their baby sleep in it at least for a little bit of time, and all it takes is a few minutes for them to pass away.